Okay. Hey, everyone. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in today. I am honored to have Dr. Charlie Cabo on the line with us from Pounds Transformation. This whole series of live interviews is meant to motivate and inspire you to take a look at what you're currently doing in this current environment and think about taking a business online. And we have all different kinds of business owners that are doing this. And the funny thing is that most of the people that are going online aren't doing it out of desperation. They're doing it because they want to be able to serve at a higher level. And that is a discussion that Dr. Charlie and I have had for quite a bit about how do we reach out to more people to be able to serve at a higher level. And I think that's one of the magic behind the whole thing. So today I wanted to interview Dr. Charlie here a little bit and talk to him about his big why, right? Why he wants to take his business online. And then we'll talk about some of the struggles, right? In what kind of things, what kind of obstacles or challenges he's faced getting that going. And then at the end, we'll talk a little bit about exactly what he does, because I think that there are a lot of people out there that are suffering from poor health, not only for themselves, but their families. And Dr. Charlie has a new way, a better way that will get better results. So I definitely want to make sure that we give ample time to discuss that. So Dr. Charlie, welcome, sir.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bill.
So let's talk about the big why. Why do you want to take your business online?
Yeah, so we've always been sort of dabbling online to some degree for the past few years. And the real reason as to why is just because you can impact so many more people that are having issues with weight and they're not getting the answers that they really deserve. There's so many people out there that have been told, that they need to exercise more and eat less. It's sort of brainwashed into our society, and it's just bad advice for a lot of people that are having abnormal weight gain. And so we've had a bricks and mortar sort of practice. We have 3 offices in Connecticut that have been very, very busy, which has been great, but there's limitations with regards to, being here just in Connecticut. And so we've been exploring the internet as a possibility of expansion to help more people.
Okay. And so again, I want to point that out, because every interview I've done so far, everyone is basically saying the same thing. They want to be able to serve at a higher level, and they're just trying to find the platform to be able to do that, which I think is outstanding. I mean, that's what real leadership is about focusing on that. So that's terrific. So let's talk about challenges a little bit. Like it's definitely a new world taking business online. What kind of challenges have you faced so far?
I think time has been a huge factor in putting together and organizing the thoughts that we have and the way in which we do things face to face with patients here in the office. Our practice, we've got multiple providers, physicians, and dietitians. And so when patients come and see us, they go through a series of steps through the practice, and trying to organize how to do that online has been obviously challenging, but you've been able to help us out a lot with regards to the planning and execution of how this could better occur a little bit more seamless sort of way, and giving us that push. So time has definitely been one of the biggest limitations. Trying to run a practice that's busy while at the same time trying to develop online courses and online presence to be valuable has been probably the biggest challenge, I'd say.
So let's talk about a little bit about, I mean, obviously there's challenges that go along that, but let's talk about the fun. I know that over the holidays, right, during Christmas time, you went on Facebook, right? You formed a Facebook group, and then you went live for your first time and did that. And I know that there was, a little bit of anxiety there, but when you got on there, it just looked like you were having so much fun. How did you feel doing that?
Yeah, again, it was all new to me. It's not now. Now I've gotten a lot more used to being on live, and if you make a mistake, it just keeps on, the camera's still going. So in any case, I'd say that, you got us, and when I say us, it was me and my wife, Michelle, who really started the whole business a few years ago, but you had really encouraged us and gave us a lot of motivation to feel comfortable in going live. And so, when we did that, we have over 20,000 patients here, and we knew that there was potentially a pretty big crowd and audience that we're going to speaking in front of, and we're not really used to doing that. But in any case, we convinced ourselves that it was more exciting than it was anxiety provoking. And when you look at it with a different lens, I guess there's a level of comfort. And ever since we did that first live Facebook feed in December, which was kind of like a beta test for where we're at now, with patients, it was comfortable. And now it just keeps on getting more exciting. There's more sort of bars that keep being set to jump over, and timelines and deadlines to me. So it's been good.
It was fun too. I actually tried to take a look at your stats, and I know that initially, and I just want to point this out to people, you don't have to have everything right. It doesn't have to be ready. You just have to do it, right? You just have to go, and you have to make it happen. So what ended up happening is you ended up getting a bunch of initial sales, right? From creating the Facebook group and basically creating a paid group, which I thought was outstanding. And we did run into some glitches, right? Technical glitches as far as who signed up when and when they get charged again. And there was a scramble to try to put things in order. But, the bottom line is that you did it, right? You got started and you started generating income regardless of the fact that you didn't have, all of the I's dotted and T's crossed yet.
Yeah, and people were so understanding about the mistakes that were made at the time of launch. And they weren't really big mistakes. It was just really, a couple mix-ups with regards to how charges were being placed, and some communication issues that we ran into. But not one patient that experienced a problem really was upset about it. It was all just really fun. And looking back at it, it still is fun, and it continues to be fun, and now it just continues to grow on itself, which is cool. And I think you said it, and you make it happen, which is you just have to do it. You say, okay, hey, look, I'm putting down this date, and when the date is put down, there's no turning back. It's kind of like going over, jump on a mountain bike that I'm into. Like, once you commit,
that's right,
hands are off the brakes. You just go and you see what happens. So yeah.
Speaking of mountain bikes, we went out to Moab, Utah, and we took this little trip up to the top of the mountain, and it was freezing up there. It was so cold, but they took us up on these buses and with mountain bikes, and then we had to come down.
Yeah.
And it was so cold when we were at the top. By the time we got down to the bottom, it was hot. But along the way, the trip was amazing. It was super scary to get started as we started to come down, because it got really, really fast. The terrain was really rugged. But then it started to get, we came to like this plateau, and it was amazing. There was this green grassy pasture area, and there were these wild Mustangs out there. So that was super cool.
That's amazing.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
But then we got to this part where you had to come down the hill, and then there was a section where you could shoot up. So of course I decided, and I'm not an experienced rider. So I decided I'm going up this anyway. Shoot up the top of this thing. So now I'm turning around, and the guide is showing us how you're supposed to keep your butt back, right?
Yeah.
So you don't go head over heels. Scared to death, just scared to death. And that's what it was, the commitment to just get on the bike, throw your butt back, and just pray that it's going to work.
Just pray it's going to work. Fortunately, usually it does,
Yeah, it was really scary. But anyway, so that's a lot like what this is like. Anytime you do something new, it's super scary, but you have to rip the Band-Aid off and you go for it. And as long as you follow the advice of the guide along the way, usually things work out pretty well. Now, every once in a while you fall on your face, but it's not the end of the world. You get up and do it again.
Yep.
So right now we're in the process of trying to build out a really cool concept, a course around a healthy home. And I think this is such a cool idea because of the trickle effect of what happens, when one person isn't healthy and how it affects everybody else in the house. Tell us a little bit about the project that you're putting together.
All right. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. Basically, I guess through conversations with you, Bill, you've always pushed who's your avatar? Who do you really like to work with? And I definitely have certain patients that I just have a higher affinity to working with versus others. One of the things that I've noticed is I like working with families. I think that there are a lot of women who suffer from being overweight, and the body image issues that are out there are extremely tough to live up to, especially as they get closer to menopause, which is a hormonal disbalance. And those patients have teenage kids, usually, that also may be suffering from some degree of being overweight. And oftentimes, the husband, who might be not exactly ready to make big changes, although supportive, doesn't really know the direction to go. And then most importantly, and this is where I think it got interesting, was having a dog in the house. I'm a huge dog lover, always have been. And it just, one of my friends that actually convinced me to go into the field of preventive medicine through weight management is a vet. And we talked about this and how I think if you did a study, there'd be a correlation between families that are struggling with their weight probably have pets that might be struggling with their weight. And I thought, you know, what a cool concept it would be to bring the whole family together as a supportive unit for everybody to get healthy. So the online sort of thing that we're working on right now would include like a healthy household. So have specialists with pet nutrition, specifically dog nutrition, so that people understand what kind of snacks they should be feeding their dogs, how often they should feed them, what they should anticipate with gut regularity with their dogs when dogs are sick, when they're healthy, and these kind of things. And then pediatric obesity in and of itself is just a complete disaster in the United States, and taking care of that is extremely rewarding for us here at this practice. And then obviously my avatar, the perimenopausal 40-something-year-old female with her family around, and then the husband. So we're all really excited about that. We even just got I haven't told you this yet, but it's pretty cool, because a lot of times people want to compete with each other, and there's no better way to get some results than throwing out some challenges. And so one of the things that we just got on board is a guy who's a big endurance athlete, lives out in Idaho, and he agreed to throw together challenges that aren't going to kill anybody, but will be difficult, and we'll have some rewards along the way for people that are participating in the challenges that get laid out with regards to some level of activity. So that's that's the project that's going on. Bill gave us a timeline, so we're trying to pound it out. I don't know if we'll meet the deadline or not. That's a whole other story, but that's been a fun thing to do for sure.
Another thing that I've kind of seen, I don't know if you've seen this or not, but I know even in my own family, like my wife will pay more attention to the dog's diet than she will to our own sometimes, right? She's so obsessed with the health of the dog, but it does kind of, it's almost backwards. It's like, okay, well, let's start with the dog first, and then it'll.
Yeah, that's so true. And it's just another piece to make people more mindful of their choices. If just one person's involved in the household and they're eating one dinner, but everybody else gets to eat something different that looks better, it's hard to really be committed.
Right.
And I just think that if everybody has got this front and center, it's time to get healthy, especially with what's going on with COVID-19, including pets, then it's a win-win. Like it should be something that people are mindful about, like how you eat, what you eat, how it affects you hormonally, from a mood standpoint, risk reduction, everything, right down to the pets is really important these days. Yeah.
So let's talk about this for a second. I know that a lot of people that I know, and people even in my own family, have struggled with this, with losing weight, and they've tried all different kinds of programs that are out there unsuccessfully. So one of the things that we talked about early on when we first started talking was the fact that there's underlying conditions that make that impossible to succeed that way. So you have a little bit of a different approach to do that medically, right? You're focusing on underlying issues.
Yeah. So most often you can find underlying medical reasons why people are abnormally gaining weight, and it's just a matter of going out and looking for them. Being a physician is kind of like being a detective; you just have to look for the right clues. And so, unfortunately, there's so much blaming that goes on with regards to people and their struggles with weight that they're overeating and they're lazy, and that couldn't be further from the truth. And so, a lot of times, what you can find in looking at biomarkers in the blood, through the panels that we get, you can figure out where some imbalances may be with regards to different hormones that play with regulation of fat and how it's either burned or stored. You can certainly look at medication and how medications are involved with weight gain and weight loss. And there's huge amounts of study and research right now going into the gut health, which has been really interesting for our practice to gravitate towards too as well. So you start, putting into place issues with sleep, gut health, medications, medical problems, blood work, and then look at people's environment that they're in, activities, and then maybe how much they're eating. And you put that whole picture together and you start to formulate plans that actually are sustainable, they make sense, and they work, rather than going and spending truckloads of money on powders, potions, and shakes looking for that quick fix that it's just time to stop the craziness. Those things, they work temporarily, but everybody knows as soon as you get off of that, you're back to regaining your weight. The other thing that's really important, I think, that we hear all the time is people are always coming in acknowledging the fact that they're going to lose weight once before or twice before or however many times, and then it becomes more and more challenging to lose weight.
Yes.
And there are really good reasons for that, and it's not just by coincidence. Just, if you were to biopsy, say, a site where somebody had fat cells previous to losing weight, and then they regain the weight, you biopsy the same site, you're going to see even more fat cells on that slide compared to the first time. So the body undergoes sort of a protective behavior when it comes to dieting and weight loss and that sort of thing. So yeah, we tackle that at a whole different sort of angle compared to what I think traditionally has been done.
So let's talk about this for a second, because we're talking about working with people at a distance. For people that are listening to this live or on a replay, if they wanted to have a conversation with you, in order for them to get in touch with you, they would be visiting your site, right? And just filling out a quick little application, and then you would reach out, or how would that work?
Yeah, that's exactly. I think that would probably be the easiest for now, because we're still in that building phase of the online program for the Healthy House. But we do have the Pounds website, which does have a Get Started, and that isn't the site that's going to bring health to the house when we're talking what we talked about earlier. This site is, this is kind of our baby. This is where it all started. And so it would bring you to sort of the bricks and mortar of Pounds, although we do have patients outside of Connecticut that we can talk to and help that sort of thing. So unfortunately, only the patients that are here in Connecticut, I can accept their insurance. So insurance covers everything that we do if you're in Connecticut. Outside of Connecticut, there's not the same sort of coverage, and it just has to do with medical licensures and stuff like that. But, you could use HSA dollars to have consultations and that sort of thing with our dietitians or with me, or, the people that are involved in Pounds.
Yeah, well, most people that have had that lifelong challenge with that kind of thing, they just want a solution for it. So, investment in yourself is always, especially when it comes to your health, is the best investment. So, okay, so I put this little virtual background up here with your website. So it's poundstransformation.com, right? For those of you who are want to check this out, it's poundstransformation.com, and then up here, right where it says "Connect with us," right, Charlie? If they click on "Connect with us," that's gonna open up a little form. You're gonna just put your name, email, contact information, basically, and say, "Hey, Dr. Charlie, I listened to your interview."
Yeah, I definitely think to let us know how you came to fill out the form would be important. So we kind of had to have some information with regards to this. Is a little bit of a unique situation that the
Right.
majority of patients come in through physician referrals and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So again, this is just getting used to the online thing. So I would
Sure.
absolutely say in that questionnaire, put that that piece of information in there
Yep.
so we know what's going on.
Yep. And if anybody's listening to this, if you can't navigate that, don't be afraid to just shoot me an email either, and I can put you in contact with Dr. Charlie as well to make sure that you get together with each other. Really, really good stuff. Any last comments or things like that that you want to add in?
I would just say that, I know we kind of went off on a tangent with regards to the Health for the House and the project that's not, that we have kind of ongoing right now, but
Mhm.
this is probably the most important time that I can think of where primary prevention is so important for people. And whether it's me taking care of you or somebody else, I can't express enough that rather than to wait for you to become sick, you should go into a doctor's office and ask how you can prevent yourself from becoming sick. It'll probably make a lot of doctors' heads spin around in circles because they're not used to doing that.
Mhm.
But for a really good physician, they're going to be totally into it. And so the ways that you want to prevent yourself from becoming sick would be to look at your labs and optimize their values and don't accept normal, because
Mhm.
normal might not be good enough. So I think that, again, my last message, Bill, would just be like, take total advantage of getting to the healthier you that you can be.
Outstanding. All right. Well, hey, thanks for taking the time with us today. I know you're super busy, but I wanted to definitely make sure that I introduce you to everybody. And hopefully, if you're inspired by the message, that number one, you're going to take care of your own health, because you can't take care of the rest of your family unless you take care of yourself first, right? Put your mask on first before you help the other people on the plane. And then, be sure to reach out to me if you have any questions about taking an idea that you have and starting a business online. And certainly, if you want to contact Dr. Charlie, make sure you go to poundstransformation.com or shoot an email out to me, and I'll make sure that I put you in touch. So thank you. Thank you for your time today. And
hey, thanks a lot, Bill.
I'll talk to you real soon.
All right. See you later.
All right.
Bye-bye.